You know, one of the big themes that Bernie Sanders has really pushed, of course, is that we need to reinvent our economic system. Capitalism, he says, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. That happens to be the very foundation of who we are as a country, a system that has made us the #1 economy in the world. And, you know, he's gotten a lot of people to agree with him. So is this the start of something bigger? Is there a socialist surge that's going on? And if so, is it going to be a big problem for Republicans going forward? I'm back with the whole team, Lou Dobbs, Deirdre Bolton, Kennedy, and David Asman. You know, you heard Hillary Clinton in her speech tonight, Lou, talk about, you know, how we need these things to help society, and that Bernie Sanders has really done a tremendous service to the Democratic Party by highlighting the issue of income inequality. When she says that, it makes me think, okay, she's trying to bring in his supporters, but she's also very much trying to keep that theme alive. Is this here to stay?
Yeah, I think certainly as a message in her campaign, it's here to stay, because she has been pushed so far to the left by Sanders, and he has been intractable in pushing her in that direction. I believe she's going to have to run as a left-wing socialist despite everything. By the way, and my personal view is that means she's going to be flying not a false flag, but her true colors will be waving over the
foredeck. Can I tell you something funny, though, about this anti-capitalism? He's actually raised more money than she has. If you look at the results up through May, he's ahead of her by, it's only about $2 million, but he has raised $213 million to her $211 million, and most of his support is coming from donations of less than $200. But still, I kind of like that the socialist
By the way, it's only half. Let's be
moderate.
clear, though. It is half of the Democratic Party thinks that socialism is okay. The Democratic Party is half of the American vote. So that's about 25% of the American public think that socialism is okay. Now, while that's just a quarter, it doesn't sound like much, still, socialism used to be anathema. It used to be exactly the opposite of what we thought America was.
Young people are not taught that anymore in college. And
that's
academia,
the key. That's absolutely the key. I agree with you, Kennedy.
It's actually two-pronged. You have younger voters who are overwhelmingly going for Sanders. They sit there for 4 years, sometimes 6, you know, racking up debt, hearing these liberal professors badmouth capitalism, talk about the greatness of socialism, and they see their parents who have not done well from the Great Recession.
Anybody who has sat in, as I have, in a college text economic classroom recently realizes that what people are being taught, what young people are being taught, is socialism.
Yeah, and that's,
the idea that America has failed as an economic system, that socialism has succeeded as an economic, I mean, that is the jargon that they are being taught.
Capitalism has lifted billions of people out of poverty. Republicans are doing a horrible job of relaying that message, that success has a multiplier effect, and we need that in the economy right now, and you need to be proud of making things, selling things, and generating ideas that make money for you and everyone else.
Let's not forget, though, you have half the population right now that has no skin in the game. They're not paying any taxes. So why shouldn't they want more free stuff, Lou?
Well, they're getting free stuff, and by the way, they're not just getting it from their textbooks. They are living in a socialist environment. It's an ecology. The reality is that the federal government is loaning money to these students and to their parents, worse yet, putting them in debt, supporting. I mean, college and the university systems have become support systems for left-wing professors and their families, because it is the only institution which you can say empirically and demonstrably it's a bubble.
At the expense of the kids, at the expense of the parents that are taking out all this debt to put them through. And don't forget, I mean,
the biggest amount of debt after mortgage debt.
College is like the only thing where you're seeing inflation these days, right? I mean, you consider college costs and how much they've soared. A lot of that might be attributed to the fact that you get free money.
Let me speak up for Bernie Sanders for a second here, because one thing that Bernie Sanders does do well is describe the problem, or at least part of the problem, which is this crony capitalism that has developed more now, by the way, under a Democratic administration than we saw under Republicans, but both with Republican and Democrats. But a crony capitalism, they saw the financial bailout. Yes, it was paid back, the money lent, but you look at what the Fed has done recently, or the past 5 or 6 years, opening windows to Wall Street that didn't exist in the past. They see Wall Street doing great, Main Street not doing so great. So he describes, what he describes as a landscape of America right now, an economic landscape, is pretty good. It's his solutions, which are totally cockeyed. That's the problem. And
But,
the solutions come
the
from the
fact that
textbooks.
he's able to describe it and articulate the problem so well, that is a lot of his appeal.